Bowers, you've mentioned the group that went with Mr. Turner down to McMullen County to bring back a fugitive from justice. Did you go with them?
Well, Rob's voice trailed off. He cleared his throat. Mark's elation plummeted. Rob continued, I wasn't able to go with Mr. Turner's group, but I did help them plan their attack on the ranch.
Why didn't you go to help?
The young man asked sincerely. 2 questions. Not fair.
Rob looked like a deer caught in the headlights of a speeding truck.
Well, I think we have to give Deputy Barnes a chance to answer your question first, he said weakly. It was obvious he was trying to avoid the question. Hisses and catcalls came from the crowd with shouts of, Answer the question! And what are you hiding? Thrown in. Judge Hickman didn't come to Rob's rescue, as he too appeared interested in the answer. The shoe was on the other foot now, and Barney seemed to be enjoying it immensely, gauging by the vile smirk on his face. I didn't go because of the election. I had to help with my campaign and get ready for this debate, Rob explained defensively.
So you put politics ahead of your friends and neighbors? Someone yelled.
Rob stood frozen on the platform. The blank stare on his face told that he didn't know what to say. The jeers from the crowd continued for several minutes, but finally died down. Mark didn't think that anything could be worse than the booing and hissing the crowd had thrown at Rob, but the sound of Barney's voice saying what Mark imagined everyone was thinking was worse. I think this all comes down to integrity. You can see now why I'm the logical choice for sheriff. While everyone else might not always agree with my position, you know where I stand, and you know what I'll say. I'll do what I say, and unlike Mr. Bowers, who advocates one thing and does another. The word stung. Mark, so sure just a minute ago that Rob would be the new sheriff, was now sure his friend would lose the election. His stomach twisted into a knot that almost made him physically ill. A voice from the back of the assembly rang out. You got no room to talk, Barney. You're as two-faced as they come. Barnes visibly bristled. Mark didn't know if it was the accusation or being called by his nickname that riled him. Now you look here, Barnes shouted back. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. Sell it to the fertilizer plant, Barnes, someone else yelled.
Yeah, everyone knows you're full of shit, someone else yelled.
Barney's mouth was moving, but his words of rebuttal were lost in a wave of heckling that made him turn redder by the second. He finally shut his mouth and stood on the stage, shaking in anger. The vocal insurgence of the crowd finally died down enough that the pounding of the judge's gavel could be heard. When it got almost quiet enough that Mark could hear himself think, one of Barney's supporters yelled something derogatory about one of Rob's supporters' mother. This caused the din of both camps to the crescendo beyond the decibel level of a heavy metal rock concert. The yelling quickly turned to pushing and rapidly degraded to slapping and then punching. Mark couldn't believe what he was seeing as the fighting spread to almost half the crowd.